All right, so I don't always talk about current events on the channel, but today I felt like I would. So let's talk about the Funky Dineva video or response or commentary that he had about Chloe defending her sister Halle.
Different about Chloe Bailey, and I know this story is about Haley. I can officially say I don't like her. Chloe Bailey is so to me. First of all, girl, you were Miss Preppy Ashley from the suburbs. Then you came out, you was being all promiscuous, and then now you trying to be a gangster. None of it is fucking believable, girl. None of it is believable. And I'm probably gonna catch a lot of backlash for this. And without that makeup, she ain't cute. She should have never showed up on that camera with that face without no makeup. She ain't cute. You're not believable. You're so goddamn inauthentic. That's why you're selling. All right, that's number one.
So you guys just saw the clip. I don't really talk about pop culture as often as I could on the channel, but like this particular video really grinded my gears. Now, I unfollowed Funky Dineva years ago. I would occasionally watch some of his videos because he would talk about the Real Housewives and stuff like that, and I love those shows. So I would look at his reviews and his viewpoint or whatnot when it came to certain things. And sometimes he makes some really good points and he brings up like very logical, like aspects or whatnot that the other two co-hosts would not talk about. This particular time, I think he's gone way too far, and I do not accept whatever apology that he will give. And I know the apology is not for me, it's not for me to accept, but this is not the first time that he has been rude, nasty, hitting below the belt, just like beyond distasteful when it comes to Black women. In 2018, he talked about Blue Ivy, and people like somewhat kind of cancel him for that. And then he's had like some other controversial things that he said in the past that he's apologized for. But like, what is an apology if you keep making like similar offense, and not just similar offenses, he keeps attacking the same group of people, Black women. The irony of it all is that he goes by the handle Miss Funky Dineva. And I don't know his original like starting, but I do know that he does kind of cosplay as a Black woman. And it's frustrating because cosplaying as a ratchet, unruly, loud, stereotypical Black woman is what a lot of men have done. A lot of people who call themselves comedians, they've done it to become famous. Like they've become wealthy. And it's so crazy because if an actual Black woman were to behave that way, when they do behave that way, a lot of these men look down on them, talk bad about them, and they do the same thing to make money, and they're heavily rewarded for it. They'll talk bad about the sexy red. They'll talk bad about the, like the city girls and, like their Florida slang, the way that they pronunciate and some of the verbiage that they, like the typical Florida slang. I'm from Florida. I get it. They'll talk about, like Sukihana. They'll do all of these things, but they have made money off of doing those same exact things. So it's really frustrating, especially because Black women, we find ourselves so often in the fight alone. And we do know that there are certain like allies out there who support us and who do this. But in this particular case, this person has done this multiple times. I have a sister. I have multiple sisters. I am the baby sister. My older sisters, especially if we were in the public eye and had hundreds of thousands of people who were judging us, which if we look at Halle and her being the Little Mermaid, she was put on a platter for the whole world, all of the phobias, all of the isms to attack her when she took on that role, when she was casted in that role. And so it even makes a sister even more defensive. And right now, people are claiming that she's pregnant. It's none of our business if she's pregnant. She might be pregnant. Who cares? She is a young woman who is successful, and we might see it as something that is a negative in her career. But Lauryn Hill had Zion, and we be jamming, for the love of my world is in Zion. Like, we're all jamming to that song. a lot of celebrities chose to have their children. And when these celebrities come out and talk about deciding to terminate their pregnancies, they're judged. So if she is pregnant, she's in a relationship. We might not like the guy who she's in a relationship with, but it's none of our business. And if she is pregnant, this is one of the most crucial times of her pregnancy because the beginning trimesters are so sensitive. It is so important that a woman does not have stress, is not overexerting herself in the beginning of her pregnancy, and it's vital to her and her child. So it's just so frustrating, guys. I made this video before and I was like, F you, funky Dineva. I said some things and I was just like, you know what? One thing I will be is I will not lose my having a platform. And I don't have a huge platform like Dineva has, but you have a certain level of responsibility when you have when you have a platform and an audience to speak to. And if you can be anything, you should be kind. And the topic of what was being discussed in that particular clip with him and his co-host, it was about Halle being pregnant. And the things that Khloe said, she was not vulgar. She said maybe 15, 20 words at most, just saying y'all need to keep my sister's name out of your mouth. We don't play about Halle. Very basic stuff. And Dineva came at her social class saying, oh, she's not even about that life. She's acting like she's all tough. She's lame. She's lame. Just some of the nasty stuff that people say online when they're wearing an anonymous mask, when they have a fake account. He's saying this, and it's not good when they say it either, but he's saying this. He's putting his stamp of approval on bullying someone who already is having a monumental, crucial, whatever time in her career. It's actually really sad. It's disheartening. I am a Khloe Halle fan. I know in 2020 they came out with The Kids Are All Right. I think that's when that album came out. And they did a good job at entertaining myself and many of people throughout the pandemic. I appreciate them for that. Both of their solo ventures, them becoming entertainers, doing Grownish. I forgot the movie that Khloe was in, but they're super talented. Khloe produces. Halle has a beautiful voice. Khloe has a beautiful voice. Khloe is finding herself in her artistry. And the reality is that we can't sit here and say that somebody who was a manufactured artist or an artist as a child, that we respected them being children, it doesn't mean that they have to stay in that place. Yes, she's growing up. She's becoming her own. She does not have to go from being this angelic child actress, which every child should have an angelic type of a aura around them, their children. And then doesn't mean that she has to do that as an adult. If that's the case, we should not have child stars if that means we're going to control what they become in their future. She has the right to do whatever she wants to do. And it's not like she's doing drugs. She's vegan. She seems like she has a very healthy support system. Yes, she has Rock Nation and all of that, but her family, her sister, her brother, they're all there very much so supporting them the way that we want our children supported. And to have a Black woman attacked by anyone, especially though a Black man who has made his money off of perpetuating Black women, it's horrible. It is unforgivable, and it's especially unforgivable because he's done it multiple times. Yes, Black people, Black children are allowed to be children. They're allowed to have their rebellious stage the same way that Britney, Christina, Justin, whether it be Bieber or Timberlake, Ariana, Miley, the way that they've all had their stage where they're a little bit dirty. They are allowed to have that moment to break away from what you want them to be and to become their own. So I just wanted to say that because it pissed me off to my core. It's not right. And people like this should not be platformed. They are hurtful to the community. And it's horrible because it's hurtful to what a contradiction, the way that he has made his fame. Disgusting.